Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, we know the SNP have got a teaching problem. There's massive vacancies. They cannot fill these places. Even when they do fill them, they tend to get teachers in on temporary contracts rather than permanent ones. Many teachers are either leaving the profession altogether or moving to England. Schools are suffering because of this massive lack of teachers. And the Education Secretary, Jenny Gilruth, has said that there is funding available for councils that maintain numbers or build up to a specified number of teachers in their area. And they still can't do it. And they're offering more in increasing wages, and they still can't do it. They're offering perks and pledges, and they still can't do it. And they have a pledge that they've put into their manifesto to raise the number of teachers by 3,500 teachers. Which sounds impressive until you realise that Glasgow alone is about to fire 450 of them. Again, it isn't helping, is it? It's a bad move. But this pledge to increase 3,500 is about to be scrumpled up, thrown into the bin and forgotten about, because probably they haven't got the money anymore. This is where you are in Scotland now. 45 million to buy 20-mile-an-hour signs, but you can't afford to employ a teacher. Which is more important? Tell me what you think in the comments. But we are going to have a look at this to see why the SNP fail again. And the caretaker's first mission will be to come out today and say whether he's going to uphold this pledge or not. And I suspect not. Let's have a look. So John Swinney could ditch flagship SNP pledge for 3,500 extra teachers after a bombshell report. New independent report commissioned by the Scottish Government shed doubt on whether the SNP vow to hire thousands of teachers in Scotland was affordable or value for money. And when the same outcome could happen 2 years later. It's not, though. It's getting worse. People aren't there. Now, I've got to say, this picture is very weird. And I don't want to put this into your mind forever. But when I say what I'm about to say, you won't be able to unsee it. But to me, he looks like the demonic love child between Rupert Murdoch and Klaus Schwab. It's horrifying, isn't it? Anyway, the caretaker could be set to axe a flagship SNP pledge to recruit 3,500 teachers after the report recommended abandoning it. The new First Minister already has a huge number of issues that he will have to deal with. Left over, of course, from the Humza Yousaf era when nothing got sorted out because Humza wasn't capable of making decisions, sticking to them, or even understanding the decisions that needed to be made. He wasn't very bright and he wasn't very hard-working. He was quite a lazy man who did very little and achieved less. Anyway, one of the Nationalist 2021 manifesto pledges was to hire a substantial amount of teachers in order to reduce class contact time to 21 hours by 2028. But this is unlikely to happen, with some councils cutting the budget to hire teachers due to funding cuts, brought about, of course, by the SNP and Humza Yousaf's desperate pledge at conference where he'd run out of ideas and was struggling around to find something he could say to the huddled, performing seals. Then he came up with that bing light bulb moment of let's have a council tax cut, which has led to even more teachers losing their jobs. It's genius, isn't it? These people are absolute, geniuses. Anyway, modelling by WPI Economics, commissioned by the Scottish Government, suggests that the SNP ministers should attempt to maintain existing levels, which they can't even do that. They can't even maintain the current staff. They keep leaving, retiring, running away, hiding, begging not to have to go back into school. It said that otherwise the recruitment promise could have significant implications for cost and sustainability, while also questioning whether this delivers maximum value for money. When it comes to teaching, you need teachers at the end of the day. Whether it's value for money or not is beside the point. You need them. The study said that if teacher numbers were maintained, class contact time could be reduced to 21 hours by 2028, which is 2 full years later than planned. The overall number of teachers has fallen by 252 full-time equivalents in the past 2 years, with further reductions expected. As I say, 450 in Glasgow alone. That's pretty damn bad by any metric. Rivals have demanded that Mr. Swinney come clean on whether he will follow the report's recommendations and act another SNP manifesto promise. Yet another one. Another one bites the dust. Scottish Tory Education spokesman Liam Carr said, "This report suggests that the SNP's much trumpeted promises on teacher numbers were just hot air, and actually they're counterproductive." He said, "Far from the £1 billion and 3,500 additional teachers and classroom assistants they claimed, full-time staff numbers have actually fallen, and there's a dangerous shortfall in students' training." In the light of this report, the new First Minister John Swinney, who's had a catastrophic record as Education Secretary, must urgently come clean on whether he intends to abandon a key election pledge. And of course he's going to abandon it. He can't afford it. They literally haven't got a penny to scrape together. They are brassic because they've wasted it all. At least they have got rid of the Minister of Independence role. That's £100,000 a year saved. Well, whoopee-doo. Oh no, look, they've just paid Kate Forbes £100,000 a year. You may be arguing, but surely Shona was doing it and getting £100,000 a year. Yes, she was, but she had 2 roles. So she had 2 roles and was only getting paid one money. They've now still got Shona's role as a minister, and they've invented it. So they haven't saved any money with that. They've just moved it across a bit, just so that Kate can earn a nice little lump sum of money, thank you very much, and play with Lego and read the paper all day, do a crossword, solitaire, whatever. No work involved, just ka-ching, isn't it? Anyway, WPI economics report, which looked at the projections for a decline in pupil numbers in the coming years. Presumably they're going to be out and slaughtering kids next, I don't know. Analysed various options open to Mr. Swinney. It concluded focusing on the implications from projected demographic changes and in the context of constrained public sector, blah, blah, blah. Now, they're saying there's going to be fewer children. How the hell does that work unless people are leaving Scotland? And there's not much sign of people leaving Scotland outside of the high earners. So where's this massive shortfall in children coming from? Seems weird, doesn't it? Especially with immigration still quite high. I think they're talking out the back of their head. Well, the Scottish Government spokesperson pointed out that the report was independent and was not guaranteed to be implemented. Not guaranteed to be implemented is their way of saying we're seriously looking at it, and if it saves us money, we will. Anyway, there we go. Klaus Murdoch. I'll never unsee that now. Coming up. So who do they think is going to teach children in a few years' time? Not enough trainers teacher training coming through. Those that do get trained will probably sod off to England where the pay is better. You don't get taxed as much and there's lower classroom assaults. You've got the ones that are currently there coming up for retirement are going to leave. You've got those so disenfranchised by the work are leaving. And nobody's doing it. You're going to end up with class sizes in the 60s. And all because they want to spend money on rubbish rather than on what's actually needed. It's a shame you don't actually elect people who want to do better for Scotland rather than want to destroy it. And it's down to the SNP voters. They keep voting for this. When their children come out of schools thick and uneducated, they're probably going to blame Westminster. It's not Westminster who aren't hiring teachers. It's the SNP that aren't hiring teachers. Anyway, stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. I'll speak to you later. Bye.